During the pandemic, many people slept on their couch to cut down on their morning commute. I'm sure they missed that aspect. Today we have a continuation of the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, beginning in verse 38. The Lord gives us teachings to us and to, of course, his disciples. And these teachings have really become very common expressions in our own language. Turn the other cheek and go the extra mile. All of us, we still hear these expressions today, that we have to turn the other cheek and go the extra mile. Let's see what the Lord is talking about in today's gospel. He says, you've heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. That ancient teaching of justice it's found in Exodus, it's found in Deuteronomy, and some of the Old Testament passages as a matter of justice. In a court of law, if somebody punched you in the mouth and broke your tooth, well, then you were allowed to break their tooth, but you were not allowed to cut off their arm or kill them. This particular teaching was trying to limit vengeance and retribution. It was actually a matter of justice, that they did not want violence to escalate, as we saw over the centuries with family feuds. If somebody was hurt in one family, then that family would hurt somebody else, and then somebody would be killed, and they would kill somebody in the other family. The famous Hatfield and McCoys, right? We know how things can escalate. This particular teaching of the Old Testament was trying to have violence not escalate. It was just a matter of justice, that you were allowed to exact, the punishment would fit the crime. But this particular teaching of Moses and the Old Testament Judaism, again, was trying to limit the escalation of violence. Again, if somebody took out your eye, you're not allowed to, again, kill that person. The vengeance and justice had to be equal. But the Lord says, no, that is not how it should be with my followers. See, that was justice. Jesus is now teaching mercy. Jesus teaches mercy, which is when love tempers justice. One of the best definitions of mercy is when love tempers justice. And the Lord says, if someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn and offer him the other as well. And this is not referring to somebody trying to kill you or trying to kill your family or break into your house. That's not what this is referring to. The church has always said we have the right to defend ourselves and protect our body from physical harm. The slapping on the right cheek was an insult. The person would use the back of their hand and slap you on your right cheek. Again, it was a terrible insult. But what does Jesus say? Do not retaliate. Do not try to seek revenge. Show mercy, show kindness and compassion. Again, this was not a life-threatening thing where somebody's coming at you with a knife or with a gun. That's not what the Lord is referring to. He's talking about just being insulted. It says, turn the other cheek as well. And didn't Jesus do that when he was arrested? Before the high priest, he was struck in the cheek. Jesus did not strike back. He willingly accepted it. When he was led before the Roman soldiers and the whole cohort, how many times did they slap him and beat him and put the crown of thorns on him and strike him in the head? So Jesus shows that he turned the other cheek not once but countless times during his passion. And then it says, if somebody tries to take your tunic, give him your cloak as well. Or if they try to go to law or sue you over that, it says give him your cloak as well. Jesus did that. Jesus was stripped of his garments. We hear that in the scriptures. We see that at the foot of the cross where he was stripped of his garments. So Jesus, again, shows us how to be detached from these material things. And then lastly, go the extra mile. Should anyone press you into service for 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. According to the Roman Empire, when Rome occupied a particular region, a soldier of the army could conscript you and force you to carry their armor or their water bottle for 1 mile. That was the Roman law. And Jesus says, go the extra mile, be willing to carry it for 2 miles. And some of the ancient writings say that this is how the Christians converted some of these soldiers, because they would converse with them and give such a good example and be willing to go the extra mile. And we see Jesus himself went the extra mile because he didn't have to shed all of his blood for us. He didn't have to undergo that horrible passion. 1 drop of his blood redeemed the whole world. But Jesus went the extra mile in showing us his incredible love. An example of being conscripted was Simon of Cyrene. Here he was just coming in from the fields, and the Roman soldiers grabbed him and said, "Carry this man's cross." So we can see how Simon of Cyrene carried the Lord's cross on his back. So that's what we have today in today's gospel. Turn the other cheek and go the extra mile. I hope all of you watch Dr. Tim Gray every morning. I hope all of you subscribe to Formed. Formed is that St. Augustine Institute website. Over 1.2 million people are on that platform throughout the world. And every day they send an email. And so go on Formed, sign up for the daily email, and Dr. Tim Gray will give like a 3 or 4 minute explanation of the gospel. And the quote I'll end with today is from Dr. Tim Gray. He quoted St. John of the Cross, and he was talking about not seeking vengeance, not taking revenge, but being merciful, not to live by a law of justice, but to live by a law of mercy and love. And he quotes St. John of the Cross: "If you find no love, put love, and there will be love."